Way, I mean, you can see how consistent it is, but it's dragging and leaving everything mixed and uniform. That's kind of what we're after there.
I can tell a big difference this tool than what we had.
Yeah. Yeah, the tractor probably can too.
Yeah, we're going about 8 miles an hour.
Okay.
That's going to be about it.
Get this depth set in a reasonable range. So I usually put this kind of in my mid-range, and then I use this for my fine tuning. I'm gonna thread this up into about the middle. That way he'll have thread to go each way. So let's try this right here. That's pretty good. I'm gonna raise this just a notch. Try that again. I like that. So how I set this is, if you look, I've got about the same thread on the top and bottom, which means I can go a lot deeper and I can go a lot shallower, but you can see our blades have got a decent amount of weight on them. So we're never gonna go a whole heck of a lot deeper. So we've got that adjustment here. And then if you need to go shallower, I've got that adjustment here. And technically, you'll never have to adjust this knob right here ever again. It'll all be in your fine tuning adjustment. And it tells you right here on this knob, 1 revolution is a 1/4 inch of movement on the tool. There's only 2 hydraulic hoses that we're using. The top one is our rear hitch, so we're not using that one. We've got our raise and lower and our wing fold. That's it. There's no constant pressure on any of these hoses. It's just simply up and down and fold. So for some operators who want something extremely simple to where an operator can't screw it up in the field, that's where this 1200 comes in. And that's what we're doing today, is getting this 1228 ready to roll. We've got our rolling basket pressure maxed out already. We did that from the shop. We max all those out whenever we build it. Because this tool is a planer prep tool, there's really never a time that we won't want these baskets on max pressure. They're responsible for managing that clod size. They're responsible for a lot of things that really tailors to the planer, so we want that maxed out. So Cody's up in there with the customer. I'm gonna give them the green light. They can go ahead and make a pass. Right now on these few initial passes, I'm overall really not too concerned of the performance or aggressiveness of the tool. I'm looking for the basics. Is the tool level? Are we going the right depth? And are we pitched the correct way fore and aft? Once those boxes are checked, we'll start to go down the line and start to get picky and fine tune. All right, let's give that a shot. A lot of times I'll watch what each blade's doing. So I'll watch this front blade in relation to that rear blade. I think we just nailed our fore and aft. When he put that down, that front blade hit the ground at the same time that the rear one did. There's a good 10 feet of distance in between those two, so that's a sure indicator that you are level there fore and aft. So right now, we'll see what he says, but I think we're going a little bit deeper than that 1.5 to 2 inches that he wanted to see. Maybe not, I don't know. I do know it's a little bit drier out here than what I thought it would be. We've had some sunshine here the last couple days. The wind's been blowing for 2 weeks, it seems, but there is definitely some moisture. But look at that, look what I just found. Good old fracture. I just hooked my knife under here and you can see that. That's pretty common, all this loose dirt, but right there is that fracture point that we always talk about.
Yeah, that's about right.
I wasn't real sure what you would think of the depth. I thought we were fairly close, and I've got those harrows tightened up all the way. That way, I mean, you can see how consistent it is, but it's dragging and leaving everything mixed and uniform.
Yep.
That's kind of what we're after
I
there.
can tell a big difference this tool and the one we had.
Yeah, the tractor probably can too.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going about 8 mile an hour.
Okay.
That's gonna be about it. I'm hoping that we could do this and just go in and plant it. See,
Yeah.
before, it wouldn't work it up enough and I'd have slits in the ground and stuff. So we had to take the field cover later, or the S-tine, to
Yeah.
get plenty of loose soil and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, this one, now that the blades are closer together, I think you'll be able to do that no problem. The 5-inch spacing with that 8-wave blade, you know, it ends up being only about a 3-inch gap between blade to blade, truly, because that 8-wave blade's so wide. This is what we're after right here.
Okay.
We're good level-wise this way, but I did not get a good look at it from behind to check our wing turnbuckles.
Yeah.
So I may have you go again,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll just make another round. I'll go slow so you can walk behind it.
Okay. I think those wings need to, either we need to raise the center or those wings need to come down.
Yeah.
Well, it's that time of year where everyone's getting ready to fire up their tillage tools. We're getting the calls, hey, can you come help me get this thing set up? We did one yesterday, we did one a couple weeks ago, and now we're getting this 1200 dialed in over here in St. Mary's, Ohio. Now, these growers are longtime Salford owners. I mean, they owned one of the original 450s. We're talking 2002 year range, and they upgraded to one of these 1200s, which is a night and day jump, not only from a 7.5-inch tool to a 5, but tire size and coil diameter and the type of bearings and everything is just night and day. So they're very impressed and extremely happy with this tool. But overall, his goal here was to just go a couple inches of depth, crack that crust on top, and be able to have just a nice smooth seed bed. We talk about these tools being the planter's best friend all the time. Here we have another happy customer, a second time Salford owner. That's what we like to see, the faith in the company and the faith in our service and business as a whole. So we're doing a few last minute tweaks on this one. We'll go dig and see what we find. Yeah, I mean, I would say this right here is a beautiful seed bed overall. And you know, I talk about that fracture a lot that I always see from that jackhammering of that blade. And that's where, you know, you never really see the smearing or the compaction layer that a lot of the discs and stuff can create. But you can kind of just dig anywhere and you find soil that's just been, just like that, just kind of exploded. You know, there's never really a real firm spot. You can just kind of, I mean, you see how broken up and brittle. I mean, there's really never a spot that you run into that's just like, dang, that's hard or firm, or I don't know if you've seen that with your Salford over the years. Well, I mean, a 450, you may not have seen it because there probably was never enough frame weight there to really get those springs to kind of, and that's part of the reason why this frame is so much heavier, because we need that weight to push down on those springs to get that constant pressure put down on it. Right.
Okay.
Whereas like the 450, overall the frame probably wasn't heavy enough to get that. You know, it was pushing up on that frame probably more than what the frame was pushing down.